kicked off Dynamite here in Chicago. Very big here. So they started off with like Mussolini
And
and Kennedy.
Kennedy, we
CM
have,
Punk, man. Chicago's own CM Punk showed up. Big reaction, like always. So he was, you were saying something.
yeah, I liked how they started off, CM Punk's entrance. The first shot is the same guy who was doing the oh my God, when Punk debuted. And apparently, he's the same person who was standing next to Punk when he was blowing a kiss to Vince McMahon at Money in the Bank 2011.
And, and I was surprised that he gave the exact same reaction.
Yeah, probably the camera guys knew that he was there and they wanted him to act as over the top as possible.
Great, that was great. So Punk was just showing off to the crowd, his hometown crowd, and all of a sudden, like he was actually supposed to face QT Marshall. All of a sudden, Maxwell Jacob Friedman's music hit, and he's getting this nuclear hit by default. You
Tony
just
Schiavone.
interrupted the hometown guy.
Yes, and of course Tony Schiavone is like, this son of a bitch. He had
The hatred.
Tony Schiavone had his JR moment over there. Son of a bitch.
So he's interrupted CM Punk. That's a big no-no here in Chicago. And they had a little segment. This was basically a promo battle. And I made a little, you could say, calculation. And they even posted it on YouTube. This went about 15 minutes, this promo segment.
Yep. Because
Yeah, this.
by the time Punk stopped talking, like, just day, like I might be getting ahead of myself. At that time, like the show reached 22-23 minute mark. So you knew it was like a long ass promo that they did.
Yeah, it kind of went like a very WWE segment. Like if I was watching a SmackDown or a Raw.
Yes, but instead we have Triple H doing the yeah.
Yeah, but the point I was, getting across, this went about 15 minutes, and this segment had more time compared to the entire Queen's Crown tournament. There you go.
There's
This
your
is your Queen's Crown joke of the week.
yes.
But
I thought you'd save that for the TBS match, but I
I
think the
actually
earlier
had nothing, to actually plug it. So this was a great time. But this segment, Ridwan, what did you think of it? Like there are some comparison that it almost reached pipe bomb, levels, and you could say this was a great segment, but I wouldn't go far enough and say this was the best one of the best promos you ever heard in AEW.
I mean, promos of the year, sure, but not an all. I mean, not the greatest of all time promos. But this promo was like great in itself because, like, it was in a way, it was highlighting MJF as like, making him a bigger star than he already was. And, hanging with someone like Punk or actually getting the best of him. It worked for Eddie Kingston because, like, a lot of people knew what Eddie Kingston was about. And this was, say, a similar case with MJF if people didn't know him already. So I thought this was a fantastic promo from both sides because MJF was on fire like he usually is. And the less said about Punk on the mic, the better. So I thought it was a fantastic promo from both of these guys.
We were talking about it like brought this point up. Like they kicked AEW is like this is the second time that a Dynamite show has kicked off with a promo segment. They did it last week. It was good. They also did it here as well. And my question is, was this too long for a promo segment?
I mean, based on what they were, what the content was, I thought it was fair, or I'd say it was good. I went a bit long for my taste, but overall, like it was an enjoyable promo, so no major complaints about that.
And the report is that they actually went overtime with this.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's actually true.
And but the overall this promo was fantastic and a lot to cover here, man. Can you help me with some of the highlights mentioned by these two men?
Okay, so
Basically, it was Basically, this was live murder again on national television.
Yes,
They
but
did it
it
with
was,
Brian Pillman.
yeah, but both of them were like, at but yeah, cool. Like if you were to like have a contest in this promo, MJF clearly wins it, I'd say.
Do you think so?
Because I mean, Punk had like some very big jabs, like he gave back to MJF. But I thought like MJF was like on top of his game, like if you were to compare, because it wasn't like Punk had some great lines, but it wasn't his best night. Like we've seen better from him than how he performed, if you want to call that. But this was MJF was like at his very best in this, if that makes sense.
Basically,
Yeah.
Punk made his match on the mic.
Yes, that's a great way to put it.
So tell us some of the highlights, man. Lot to cover here.
Okay, yes, because I have like a full page of notes and I'm like using this book.
Oh,
So first, when CM Punk makes his entrance, and then like while he's entering the ring, MJF interrupts him. So there are already asshole chants to MJF, and then like first he's like, yeah, now you know how does it feel to be interrupted, and I'm doing it in your hometown. And then the crowd chants, shut the fuck up to MJF. And MJF is like, retorting back. He's like, shh, I'm talking. And then MJF starts off as like the great CM Punk. I've been a fan of you all these years, and there's no shame in admitting that. So that's all. Like if there's no way of putting Punk over it. This you want to like you could call it that. And then he's like, the pipe bomb was your best Punk moment, but whenever I'm talking, it's like every single moment is the best moment of MJF. And he's like, you are a straight edge. I respect that, but I wouldn't really I want to be in your shoes because of the way you look, with your gray beard. I would like to take 8 shots of whiskey just to look at myself in the mirror to make myself look good. And then, if the low hanging fruit, like how Punk mentioned, was like, I will finish you quicker than your UFC career, because like that was the obvious jab that MJF had to take. And
round one goes to MJF.
yes. And to finish off this round, as you said, he's like, you drop pipe bombs, I drop nukes. So then Punk takes the mic, and Punk is like, MJF, I'm disappointed in you. Like you said, MJF stands for Maxwell Jacob Friedman, but I thought like the way you're behaving, MJF stands for my jealous fan. I thought that was a great line from Punk. He's like, you can call you like, you're saying that whatever you're doing is revolutionary in this wrestling business, like the way you act inside and outside the ring. You're just a less famous Miz, which popped the crowd huge. And then he was getting Miz chance, and then MJF was like, shut up, I'm not talking to you. And then I thought that was like a very sick burn from Punk. And
Almost. MJF's career almost ended
yeah,
right there.
almost there, but like we'll get to more. And then he's getting missed chance, and then he's like, Punk, you're exactly the way you're behaving, like you're just a nostalgia act, and nostalgia loses its luster after a certain point. And then he's like, ever since you've come back, like you've been a very robotic ass kisser. He's like, your breath stings because of the ass that you kiss, and you've been very robotic. And then he tries to do an impression of a robot, telling that he's doing an impression of Punk, saying, it's great to be back in insert name. And then he's like, I can't wait to face. And then well, after that, he's like, you're not CM Punk anymore, you're PG Punk. Like you're yeah, one another line, he's like, when you were at the other company, you were the underdog, and you had built a cult of your own because the fans thought you deserved better. Now over here you have a chance of doing that, but you are not. You are losing, like you've lost your mojo, you've lost your touch, yada yada. And then he's like, you're PG Punk, and or you it's only a matter of time before you start preaching hustle, loyalty, and respect, which was a nod to John Cena is like, I can see you. In fact, I can see through you. And from there, he's like, just one moment. He's like, you're not, you call yourself the best in the world, but you are actually second best because you've always been the second best to the guy you can't see, or you can to or the King of Kings. And he's like, MJF, when he said that, sorry for messing up the timeline a little. He said that you have all the like you've lost your hunger, you've lost the edge, you doubted yourself, and then he's like, MJF is like he's everything that Punk hates in pro wrestling. When a guy who climbs to the top, through his rich connections and all. And then when he does the second best line, and then that's when MJF, uses his catchphrase saying, I'm better than you and you know it. And after that, CM Punk, gets the mic back and he admits to whatever MJF has said, that he's lost his hunger because he was doubtful of how he would be received by the fans after walking away from wrestling. And then he's like, he's true, but like he was scared if he could hang with the best guys, but no more. And MJF is like the main gist of it is MJF is also disappointed that Punk didn't mention his names in the list of guys that he wanted to work with. So Punk, he's like, you are headlining the New York Times, like you have been doing. Okay, sorry. So he's like, yeah,
Like
he's
he made the New York Times because of singing and dancing. Then
yes. The
he
line that he uses is like he Punk headlined MJF at the same age at MJF's age when he was marking out to Rosie O'Donnell. And
like he
after
headlined MSG.
yes, or the same like at the same time, and then basically trying to prove the veterans worth, like how old CM Punk is and how much of a kid MJF is. And then he's like, you are headlining the New York Times for your singing and dancing, but the next time you headline the New York Times, it will be for your obituary, which was a very sick burn. And then like I mentioned, when MJF mentioned that Punk didn't use MJF's name in the list of guys that he wanted to work with. And then Punk uses that. It's like, I wanted to wrestle a lot of guys. And hell, I chose the heart and soul of AEW, which was Darby Allin. And I fought him before you, which must have made you more jealous than anything else. And you talk about the four pillars of AEW, but you forgot to realize that you've been replaced by Britt Baker, which was like another ouch moment. And like one last burn was MJF, like you're the second, like he called Punk the second best, you're the actual second best, because and the only way you can be number one is if you would wait long enough for Tony Khan to have a daughter and MJF could marry her.
Okay, this
I think
is
I take my words back when I said MJF won the promo battle, but this was an equal match. I apologize for the earlier claim. It was very
you
evenly
can make an
matched.
argument. You
Yeah.
can make an argument with the last line you just mentioned. Punk won via knockout.
Yes. So he's like the best welcome back gift to the Chicago fans if Punk punches MJF in the needle dick. And then that's when a brawl tries to ensue and MJF then bails out. So there is your entire from the promo till the end of this segment was like entirely 20 minutes long. And there you go.
Actually, shocked that they aired the dick word.
Yeah, and even the fans started chanting Needle Dick" while MJF was making his way out.
So you could say Punk, in a way, embarrassed MJF on the mic. So when this match happens, you have to equal the situation here. MJF has to beat CM Punk clean in their wrestling match.
It won't be clean because there will be something or the other happening from like MJF's goons. Or if MJF has to lose, then probably they have to have the Wardlow turn now.
I don't know which direction they are particularly considering, but This is some great stuff, man. Like since last week, right? That they teased us,
Yes.
and they even touched. They haven't even touched yet.
Yes, and it's like they haven't really progressed much with this, but still, like it's reached to a point where you're damn excited because I mean, the inevitable promo of that they were going to have happened like last night or a couple of nights ago. But even then, it's like you were sure that it was going to be an awesome promo, and lo and behold, it was one such.
But I don't know, man. Do they do this at Winter is Coming or maybe somewhere in January?
I
Like
was
we got
thinking
some pretty big shows.
Yeah, I was thinking either was it going to be winter is coming, or maybe they would have stretched it a little to their the first TBS show, because I feel this deserves a bigger stage than that. That probably the Revolution pay-per-view, but we are very so far removed from that. Like I think, how far is it? 3 months, because Revolution is like at the start of March. So it would
No,
have
I
it
think it's in February.
like end of Feb, start of March, because last year, the first Revolution pay per view, which happened in Wintrust Arena, happened on the 29th of February, and last year's happened on I think 6th or 7th of March. So
We'll have to wait and see. But one thing from this promo, he mentioned the Miz line. I think there could be a thing that there is hate between Punk and Miz.
there is like there was a point where the IWC hated Miz because of CM Punk's comment on this on the Art of Wrestling podcast by Colt Cabana, because Punk is like he's mentioned he's jealous of Miz because he got to main event WrestleMania and Punk did. Now he's made peace with that claim, but it's still something that it used to eat Punk alive if AEW wasn't a thing.
Remember that one time where I think he blasted Miz on some comments that Miz made about CM Punk. So Punk responded with "Go, continue sucking
Saudi.
that blood money, something related Saudi."
Yes. I wouldn't say the explicit words on this, but I know what you're referring to.
Yeah, which was pretty hilarious, but he deleted man.
I would have probably retweeted that now that you've mentioned it.
It is somewhere still in the internet.
Yeah, like
Some
it
there
would,
could be a screenshot here and there.
yeah, it will exist in screenshots, and they could probably, get use it in that sense.
But we'll have to wait and see, man. This is, you could say, one of the best thing that AEW is doing right now, especially with CM Punk.
Yes, and I don't get it, okay? Like people are claiming that Punk has become a bit too boring because he needs a feud. He needed a feud and now he has. And these guys, like, with WWE references, people are still complaining that why did he do that? Because they are just acknowledging Punk's history. They won't stop complaining, but fuck them. This segment was awesome.
But after this segment, were you ready to watch CM Punk versus QT Marshall? Because at that point, I didn't actually needed this match, and in a way, I didn't care about it.
Yeah, you needed a breathing room, so it worked in that sense.
So nothing much to cover on this match, like QT Marshall's goons. That was Komarato and Solo were kicked off by the referee. So do you know what that reference comes from?
Like I know where it comes from, but I haven't heard it. Like it's from the Jim Cornette Experience podcast. Like does he
Yeah,
say that way?
yeah. He actually put those guys over than AEW has.
CM Punk after all.
Yeah, even Punk made that reference in a promo at the last Rampage, which popped me and him, Jim Cornette himself.
I
But
have to check. I
anyways,
have to check Jim Cornette's reaction to that.
your Cornette's AEW, he's actually praising a lot, especially with Punk.
And he always has, like it's a weird world that we live in because whatever him and Melzer say about AEW, it's like entirely opposite of what the fans' perception is. And that's a topic for
Yeah,
another time though, but just needed to mention that.
yeah. Quickly about this match. So, Comrato Solo, they are kicked out by the referee. They had a decent enough match. So at the end, Punk got the victory with the GTS, and there you go, man. That's
Yeah.
it.
I think the only highlight of this match was Punk still putting the body slam over. Like he did 4 times and then QT was just selling huge for that. And I think
Uh,
QT should get his due. Like he's a pretty decent hand as a worker and he's a good enough promo as well.
why does Cutie's ring gear reminds me of The Rock?
It reminds me of Triple H, if anything.
I think he kind of moves like The Rock for some weird reason.
Mhm. And like he dresses up as Tony Soprano. He like his ring gear is like The Rock, and he wrestles a bit like Triple H. So this is like a weird combination that we have right now.
But anyways, man, moving.